Burying my husband overseas was the hardest thing I'd ever done. But coming home to a family who couldn't even pick me up from the airport? That was worse. And when they saw me on the evening news, minutes away from death, suddenly they wanted to be in my life again. Too bad for them. My revenge was already in motion, a broken bar, and it lasted an entire. If you've ever wished you could show people exactly what they threw away when they abandoned you, a broken bar, this story's going to hit you right in the heart. Tap like, subscribe, and stay until the end, because the final scene will make you cheer. I'd been overseas for 3 weeks. 3 weeks of hospital corridors, cold metal chairs, and signing papers I never wanted to see. My husband, Daniel, had collapsed while we were visiting his family in Italy. A brain aneurysm. 1 minute he was laughing over coffee, the next I was watching doctors shake their heads. After the funeral, I stayed behind to close accounts, handle his belongings, and help his parents through their own grief. By the time my flight home was booked, I was running on caffeine, tears, and the faint hope that home would mean comfort. The night before I left, I sent a simple message to our family group chat: "Flight lands at 8 p.m. Can someone pick me up?" I didn't expect a parade. Just a broken bar ride. A sign that I wasn't as alone as I felt. 10 minutes later, my phone buzzed. From my brother, Jake: "We're busy, try Uber." Then my mother chimed in: "Why didn't you plan better? You can't expect people to drop everything." I stared at my phone so long my vision blurred. My own mother. My only sibling. Dismissing me like I was a stranger, inconveniencing them. I typed, "Never mind." Then turned off my phone. The next day, as the plane taxied to the gate, I turned my phone back on. No new messages. No "how are you?" No "we'll be there after all." Just silence. I walked through the arrivals terminal, watching strangers reunite, hugs, tears, laughter, while I waited for my Uber. The driver barely spoke, and I was grateful. My throat felt raw. When I opened the door to my house, it hit me at the smell of stale air and dust. I'd been gone less than a month, but it felt a broken bar, abandoned. My plants had died. The fridge was a crime scene of expired food. It was cold, at the kind of cold that seeps into your bones. I dropped my suitcase in the hallway and went straight to bed. 2 nights later, I woke shivering so hard my teeth ached. My head felt heavy, my vision swam. I staggered toward the kitchen for water, a broken bar, and collapsed before I made it 3 steps. I woke in a hospital bed with an oxygen mask. A nurse told me I'd been unconscious from carbon monoxide poisoning, my ancient furnace had failed, and without an alarm, the gas filled my house silently. My neighbor, Mr. Hernandez, had seen my light on at an odd hour and broken in when I didn't answer. "If he hadn't found you," she said quietly, "you wouldn't be here." That night, the local news ran the story: local widow rescued from carbon monoxide poisoning by neighbor. The footage showed my house, the broken window, and a brief shot of me pale, oxygen mask in place. My phone exploded with notifications. From Mom: "Why didn't you tell us you were in trouble? We would have helped." From Jake: "Saw you on the news. You should have called me. I'm your brother." I laughed. Out loud. A bitter, ugly sound that echoed in the hospital room. They weren't calling out of concern. They were calling because my story was public. Because their absence was visible now. That's when the first seed of revenge was planted. When I got home from the hospital, my family expected me to fall back into old patterns: to forgive, to smooth things over. That had been my role for years. I'd been the peacekeeper, the explainer, the one who excused their selfishness because that's just how they are. But almost dying alone stripped away all those excuses. They'd made their choice when they left me to fend for myself at the airport. They doubled down when they shamed me instead of helping. I wasn't going to scream at them. I wasn't going to send a dramatic text. I was going to do something worse. I was going to erase them from my life, quietly, publicly, and permanently. First, I stopped answering their calls. Texts went unread. I left the family group chat without explanation. Then I blocked them on social media, but not before making my profiles public again. That way, they could still see my life, but only from the outside. I started posting photos, not for vanity, but for message. Me at dinner with neighbors. Me fixing up my house with the help of Daniel's friends. Me smiling, healthy, surrounded by people who showed up. The comments were full of support from the community. And I knew my family was lurking. Over the next year, I hosted small gatherings. Holiday dinners. Summer BBQs. A charity fundraiser in Daniel's name. Every event was photographed and tagged. Every seat at the table was filled, except for theirs. Through mutual acquaintances, I heard my mother complaining, "She's making it look like she doesn't have a family." That was the point. The local paper did a follow-up on my carbon monoxide story, framing it as a community safety piece. They interviewed me at home. I made sure to credit everyone who'd helped: Mr. Hernandez, my husband's co-workers, even the high school kids who'd done yard work for me. I didn't mention my family once. Not a word. When the article came out, my cousin texted me a screenshot of a Facebook comment my mom had left: "We're so proud of our Amelia." Someone replied, "Then why weren't you there when she came home?" And just like that, my mother deleted her comment. The real payoff came at Thanksgiving. I hosted my biggest dinner yet, 20 people in my dining room, laughter spilling out into the cold night air. We toasted Daniel's memory. We passed around plates until we couldn't eat another bite. Halfway through dessert, my phone buzzed. A text from Jake: "Hey, you hosting this year?" We thought we'd stop by. I typed back one sentence: "You're not on the guest list." I hit send, set the phone down, and went back to my guests, my real family. Here's the truth: revenge isn't always about grand gestures. Sometimes it's about removing your energy from people who take it for granted, and letting them watch as you build a life they'll never touch again. My family lost me the day they told me to try Uber. And I gained something so much better: a chosen family who showed me what love looks like when it's real. If you've ever had to cut people out for your own peace, you know how hard it is, but also how freeing. Hit like if you agree, share your own story in the comments, and subscribe for more true tales of justice, karma, and self-respect.